I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, February the 25th, brought to you in part by Kansas Regenerative Medical Center. Transform your health with stem cell therapy. 60% of Kansas RMC's patients are farmers and ranchers. For more information, go to kansasrmc.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma. Big run for them after being closed due to frigid weather last week. Going to have about 6,000 head. They're looking at 750 to 1,000 head of calves. They'll be mostly 4 to 6 weight calves. About 80% of them will be weaned. The condition will be outstanding. They're going to have about 2,000 yearling heifers. They're going to be 600 to 800 pounds for the most part. Should be 8 to 10 square loads of them. There'll be some replacement heifers in there. You might have to buy a deal and then sort the best ones out, but there are going to be a few consignments with some replacement qualities in there. Should be a few 5-weight yearling grazing heifers if you're interested in something like that. Then they have 2,500 yearling steers. They'll weigh from 700 to 1,000 pounds, be 20 to 30 square loads of them. Included in that is 4 loads from the JE farms. They're going to be in the heavy 9-weight category, and they've got genetics to burn and outstanding quality. I mean, a real premium type deal right there, guys. But Lane Conkle told me that most all the consignments that they're going to have this week at Beaver County Stockyards are going to be home-raised cattle right off the wheat. So they won't all be in square loads. They're going to have to come in, be sexed and sized, but they'll be long time weaned, had all their shots, and home-raised quality, like northern type quality, right off the wheat, guys, and they're froze out, and the condition's going to be outstanding. So if you want some really nice cattle, check out Beaver County Stockyards here today on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they got the cow sale, about 300 head, give or take. Mostly older bred cows. They are going to have 14 head of red Angus fall pairs there, and they've got some other pairs included in there in smaller deals. But if you're interested in picking around on some of those, but mostly older bred cows and packer cows there. But to check out both of those sales, go on to DVAuction.com. If you think you want to bid, call Beaver County Stockyards beforehand. Jerry wants to talk to you before she's going to approve you. So just keep that in mind. Do that before the sale. Eggs are higher in the country. That's not what you're used to hearing, but they are. As high as these eggs have got, and as short as we are on laying hens, we've found a lot of people that are doing it from their homes. A lot of people selling privately now, and they are getting a premium because people believe that they're safer. I don't know whether or not they are or not, but there's sure a lot of people that are doing it. But they are getting a premium, and in the grocery store, you know, your legs are getting close to $10 a dozen there. And I tell you what, the one thing that's nice about seeing that is for us in the cattle business, it's nice to see that supply and demand does work. Okay, we're really short of laying hens due to bird flu. It's killed off a lot of them. The broilers don't hardly stay in the barns long enough to catch it and get sick, because they're not in there very long growing before they go off to slaughter. But the laying hens stay in there. They're catching bird flu. They're suffering, and a lot of them are perishing in that. And eggs are hard to come by. And now we're seeing the egg prices go up. Well, for us in the cattle industry that know that our numbers are extremely tight, that gives us a little more confidence that at some point we're going to continue to see good prices for cattle. And we're starting to see that this week. You know, we didn't really know what was going on the last couple of weeks because it was so damn cold that nobody could get cattle in. Nobody wanted to fool with them. People didn't want to buy them. It was just dangerously cold out there. But man, as these temperatures turned around in the northern plains, your temperatures have increased 100 degrees in 5 days. And you just think about that and you're thinking, well, yeah, I guess they did. I mean, but it's just nice weather, everywhere in cattle country, top to bottom, for this time of year, and it's being, you know, people are getting out, getting things done. They're selling cattle they would have sold over the last couple of weeks. Most of these cattle that they're selling this week are going to have outstanding condition. They're going to be froze out, and they would have weighed more 2 weeks ago than they're going to weigh this week. And fed cattle too, guys. I think that these feedlots should put their heels in the ground, guys. These packers have cut slaughter a lot. Yeah, it has backed up a little bit on our show list, but also they don't have a lot of product around them. So they're going to have to get in and start buying some cattle and getting back to work slaughtering them, because man, they've cut the slaughter back a bunch and already have started to at the start of this week. But cash feeders are going to run here because there just hasn't been a lot of them. There's a lot of grass grazers that are getting nervous about getting their calves put together. They want froze out calves, short yearlings, hard wintered. They can get them here for a few weeks here, but then man, it's going to be gone. There's not going to be any of them in late March and April, guys. We're selling so far out ahead. The market's been so good. Anybody that had cattle in loose hands have been selling them, and the market is going to gain ground. It gained ground here early this week. It's going to continue to gain ground, and the feeder cattle board is not going to be able to drag it back because we're getting close to March. And now it's going to have to abide, and we saw that already on Monday. Your March spot market went up 435 because it was so far behind CME Cash Feeder Cattle Index. It had to at least get up there where it could see the tail lights. It's running over 279.35. So you know, had to get up there, jump up there a little bit, but still way far behind. But these feeder markets are going to continue to run with aggressive backgrounder buying, and then you know, we've got guys that are wanting feeder cattle too. So all your classes are higher except for your finished fed cattle. Cows and bulls are running really short. They are getting higher every day. It's going to be interesting to see whether there's any tariffs that's going to be put on that grinding meat that's coming from Australia, Brazil, places like that. And how much of it they move up here, because we're just about out of cows and bulls, but our people need them. You know, the best demand, of course, is for ground beef, for hamburgers. People still want to eat that, and we're running short on cows and bulls. We need to get you know, product in here, but if they're not able to send a lot of that imported grinding product, we're just going to have to keep coming up with cows and bulls, and it's going to improve some of the cuts, some of the primal cuts on our fed steers and heifers, like our rounds, because they're going to have to steal some of them to grind up to put in there, because we're just running really short on that. Now Doge continues to find fraud and wasteful spending there. Looking at their website, they're finding the 5th best savings in the USDA. So they're finding a lot of wasted money in there. And I don't believe they've looked at any of the government farm programs yet. Now, if Elon gets in there and gets to looking around, that's going to look pretty greasy, the amount of money that is spent on these farm programs, and especially supplemented crop insurance. There's a lot of money spent on that. I hope there is somebody at USDA that is smart enough to tell him, whoa, whoa, whoa. If you're going to cut back on that stuff, we need to get a whole system going, because we can't just steal that all at once. It will throw this country into a tailspin if they do. Now, I've always been one that said, you know, why should we continue to supplement these crops if they can't make it on their own? You know, plant something else. And I still say that, but we've gotten so many of these farmers so used and so spoiled with these farm programs, and especially the supplemented crop insurance, that we'll lose them. We'll lose these independent farmers if we don't give them some warning and start easing them back, finding something to farm that will pay for itself and things like that. But man, that they start peeking in those farm programs, and they could think, oh my gosh, we're going to hit our goals right now. But let's talk about your board to start the week. February live cattle futures up $1.07 at 198.90. April up 115 at 195.10. Your back month's up 107 to up 165. So a good day in your live cattle pits. Feeder cattle jumped up big. Like I told you, they were getting so far from your cash index levels. March feeder cattle up 435 at 270.230. April's up 447 at 272.02. Back months on feeder cattle up 372 to up 442. Your grains for March: corn down 8 3/4 cents a bushel at 482.5. Beans for March down 10.5 cents a bushel at 10.29. Hard red winter wheat for March down 12 3/4 cents a bushel at 596.5. Let's talk about your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade out of your 5-area feeding region. It was very light, extremely light. Packers are not buying much, they're not killing much. 37,700 is nothing. That's what they moved negotiated cash in your 5-area feeding region last week, compared to 43,600, which was still nothing the previous week, and 57,400 the same week a year ago. Talk about live prices for fat steers and heifers in your 5-area. Negotiated cash range from 198 to 201. That was $2 to $3 lower. Your weighted average on live steers was 199.64, down 327 compared to the previous week. Dress sales ranged from 313 to 320. That was $2 to $4 lower. And your weighted average on dress steers 315.12, down 540 compared to the previous week. As a whole, your Southern Plains was $4 lower at 199. Northern Plains $2 to $4 lower from 199 to 201, and 5 to 6 lower dressed at 315. Nationwide, we sold 48,700 head negotiated, compared to 52,200 the previous week and 72,900 the same week a year ago. Of that 48,700, 5,300 of them, or just about 11%, were for the 2 to 4 week delivery. That is nothing. So they're not buying a lot for close out in the front. Negotiated grid sales totaled 30,650 head last week. Forward contracts only 4,600. So nobody really excited about forward contracting. They think this fat market's going to bounce back up a little bit. Formula sales 173,200 head. Of your 4 out of 5 regions that we get information from negotiated, Iowa sold 14,500 last week. Nebraska sold 13,800. Kansas sold 6,700. And Texas only 2,700. A fat cattle auction that they had on Monday back east, New Holland Sales Stables market that I used to report many years ago. They had over 950 head of slaughter cattle in all classes there. Fat steers and heifers sell from 205 to 225, with high dressing individuals up to 236, compared to that to 199 to 201 last week direct in the middle of the country. Your cows sold from 130 to 148 in New Holland, Pennsylvania, and top bull was 202.50. See what I mean about these cows and bulls getting higher again, guys. Box beef cutout values were higher to start the week. That should be good for us. Choice cuts up 296 at 313.73. Selects up 141 at 303.97. Talk about your slaughter. Very disappointing. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to stay in business not slaughtering any more than this, but only 95,000 estimated cattle slaughter on Monday. That's the same as the very disappointing start to the week last week, and 26,000 less than the same week a year ago just for the first day of the week. 26,000 less. My goodness. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market, brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance, working to protect your livelihood. Check them out, Specialty Risk Insurance. Your real-time index on DVAuction late in the day on Monday after all your sales had finished, sitting at 282.67 based on an 800-pound cash auction steer. That was up 79 cents compared to the end of last week. And your latest CME cash feeder cattle index at 279.37, just trying to catch up, always running day and a half behind. Let's talk about your big sales on Monday. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 4,300 head. Feeder steers steady to 3 higher. Feeder heifers mostly steady to $2 higher. Stalker steers $10 to $15 higher. Steer calves $3 to $8 higher. And stalker heifers and heifer calves were $10 to $20 higher. Think they're not coming after them, guys, after that little cold break. How about Joplin Regional Stockyards in Joplin, or Carthage, Missouri there? 5,400. They were only expecting 45. So who gets 900 more than they were expecting? Joplin does. $8 to $25 higher. And you would have thought, well, why didn't he narrow it down a little bit? I'm going to show you here in just a minute, but Joplin is going to have a special cow and bull sale this Thursday. A pretty good size one, guys. Be sure and check that out. Mark your calendars. Be a lot of nice bred heifers and bred cows from local producers there. You can view and bid that on DVAuction.com. But Joplin was your National Beefwire Stickout Sale of the day. Check out this automated market report out of Joplin on Monday. You wonder why his spread was so wide. Look at the changes on the right side of your screen there. Those are weighted average changes from just last Monday. Look how much higher they are. Wow. How about 310 head of 4-weight steer calves? They average 460 with a weighted average price of 401.74. 480 head of 5-weight steer calves average 559 at 337.99. There were 578 head of 6-weight steers average 656 at 305.40. 804 head of 7-weight steers in Joplin average 752 at 276.36. 835 head of 8-weight steers averaged 858 at 261.28. And 300 head of 9-weight steers in Joplin averaged 928 pounds with a weighted average price of $250.40. Look at your heifers. 252 head of 4-weight heifers averaged 441 at 352.23. 484 head of 5-weight heifers averaged 552 at 304.39. And 539 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 637 at 274.28. There were 281 head of 7-weight heifers. Joplin Regional Stockyards, they had an average weight of 731, the weighted average price of $246.79. Some individual quotes from all around. How about Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota? 65 steers weighed 807 at 284.50. That's pretty proud. How about Faith Livestock Auction in Faith, South Dakota? 102 steer calves weighed 553 at 381. That's pushing a high, guys. How about Elgin Livestock Sales in eastern Nebraska? Elgin, Nebraska there, they sell 76 steers, weighed 792 at 295. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday, your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of West Point Livestock Auction in West Point, Nebraska. John Shaven gave me the heads up on this one. 53 steers, weighed 927 at 276 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.